Today we're talking about incontinence in the workplace. So peeing your pants at work can be rather embarrassing. No one wants to be leaking at work and or their colleagues to know that they're peeing their pants. So we're going to go through some tips to help you change your incontinence while you're at work. These tips are going to make some long-lasting permanent changes to your incontinence in general, and you probably already have solutions for hiding the pee on your pants or wearing pads, bringing multiple pads during the workday. I'm going to give you some tips to bring you into a better bladder control state so you're not peeing your pants as much when you're at work. Who wants to be peeing their pants at work and or changing their pads all the time? So watch the entirety of this video and I will give you some tangible tips that you can start making in your day, starting today, that will help limit and decrease the incontinence that you experience while at work. All right, let's get started. The very first thing to do is when you wake up in the morning, before you go to work, in order to help improve the incontinence, you should have a bowel movement before you go to work. So how do you make yourself have a bowel movement before work? Well, some people enjoy coffee in the morning and that helps them have a bowel movement. Some people need exercise in the morning in order to have a bowel movement. I want you to find out what that is for you, and when we can get your bowels working and releasing poop before you go to work, you're not going to have as much pressure on your bladder. So if you're bloated or you haven't pooped yet, that's a lot of pressure on the bladder, which is going to cause the bladder to leak, and you will leak more frequently through the day if you have constipation and or bloating. So we want to make sure that every single day you can have a nice bowel movement before you go to the office. So find supplements, maybe it's some fiber, maybe it's some magnesium at night that will help you have a nice bowel movement in the morning. We want to stay away from any stimulants or things that our bodies rely on in order to have a bowel movement. And that's why in the morning, if you can wake up a few minutes earlier to get a walk in or to get some exercise in, that can help stimulate the bowels and help you get that bowel movement first thing. That bowel movement release is going to be absolutely important for you controlling your bladder throughout the rest of the workday. So you get to work and you might restrict your water intake when you're at work. And if that's the case, I want you to change that today. In order for the bladder to hold more urine, it actually needs more water. The more acidic that the bladder becomes, meaning the more dehydrated you become, the more the bladder is going to spasm, and you will leak when it spasms like that, and or give you urges to pee when your bladder isn't fully full. So if you can be drinking throughout the workday, that will be absolutely essential in order to help control your bladder. Now I know that one is scary. Who wants to be drinking more water when you already have incontinence? But I promise you it's going to lubricate your bladder and it's going to allow the bladder to expand more and hold more urine. So practice drinking. Try to get a few cups in the morning, in the midday, and in the afternoon in order to help lubricate your bladder. Some people drink their ounces in lean body weight per day. So that can be a what you decide to do as well, and work your way up to that tolerance. So the water intake is going to be absolutely essential to the incontinence. And I know that's scary, but you got to start somewhere and you got to start practicing. And if that feels like you want to start practicing on the weekend, you can do that too. But that'll be a key tip for controlling your urine and not peeing your pants when you're at work. So get your bladder hydrated, allow it to learn how to hold more water so you're not leaking during the workday. Okay, the next tip is I want you to try and take some deep breaths when you get the urge to pee. If you know you're going to pee and you have to pee and you're like, I'm not going to make it, I'm going to leak a little bit here, I'm going to give you a new tip. I want you to take a nice deep breath of air, a deep breath into your belly, inhaling, opening and relaxing everything in the belly around the bladder. Yes, it's going to increase some pressure on the bladder, but it's going to help relax the pelvic floor, which is going to allow your bladder to hold more urine and prevent that leakage. So Take some deep breaths when you get that urge to pee. When that urge comes on, you should be able to delay that urge for 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes. And so when you get that urge to pee, or you feel it coming on that you're gonna pee your pants, take some deep breaths. Okay, the next tip I have for you is gonna be another scary tip. All of these are a little scary because typically when you know you're starting to pee your pants or you're gonna pee your pants, what we do is we like cross our legs and we shimmy to the bathroom. And although that can have us, trying to hold it and we leak a little bit with that, it's not an effective way to delay any urges to get to the bathroom quicker. So in order to help change that urge and improve the ability of your bladder to hold the urine, I want you to do a few things. I'm gonna have you'll stand up from your chair, and then I want you to drop into a squat like you can do this around your colleagues, like you're picking up a pencil off the floor. You're gonna spread your knees apart and pick up something off the floor, and when you go to pick it up, you're stretching your pelvic floor, opening your pelvic floor, and that's going to help decrease the urge to have to get to the bathroom. It's going to buy you some time. You're not going to just squat down once. I want you to try and do it 5 times, like pick your pencil up here or go to fix your shoe over here, and you're going to work in like these different movement planes, and that's going to help open the pelvic floor and relax some of the tension, again allowing the bladder to hold more urine. A lot of people's incontinence actually gets worse when they're just trying to hold it and squeeze and hold a Kegel. And the reason is because a lot of us have general tightness in our pelvic floor. And when that pelvic floor is tight, if you imagine here's my bowl of the pelvic floor, my bladder sits in the bowl. If my bladder was a grape, the tighter I squeeze that grape, the more likely it is that I'm going to squish the grape. Well, if the grape is your bladder, that means that you're going to pee or leak a little bit when the pelvic floor is squeezing. So what I'm teaching you is to help open up the pelvic floor to allow the bladder to have some space so we're not squishing the bladder or squishing the grape. And that's going to help us hold more urine and at least make it to the bathroom. Now, if you're going to the bathroom every 30 minutes, every hour, I want you to try and put yourself on a schedule to delay that. A healthy bladder should be able to hold urine every 3 to 4 hours. And that's really independent of how much water you're drinking. If you're like, that is not even possible for me, drop a comment in the chart and tell me how long that you can go without having to go to the bathroom. And if it's under that 3-hour mark, I'll respond to you, but I want you to start to try, and I'll give you some more tips if you drop that in the comment. But at first, I'm going to have you try, and if you know you can go every 30 minutes, I'm going to have you push it to 35 minutes and really set a timer and be like, okay, I made it 35 minutes. Now I'll go pee. Or if you're going once an hour, try to push it 1 hour and 5 minutes and just increase that increment. And you're going to put yourself on the little bladder schedule for how often you go to the bathroom. Now, we are all so much more concerned about our incontinence than any of our work colleagues because they're worried about their own problems. So I don't want you to feel embarrassed or shamed because so many people have lack of bladder control and have issues with their bladders. And so these tips are going to help give you that bladder control and start to change your bladder experience and your incontinence while you're at work. And a really important note here is that a pelvic floor physical therapist can absolutely help you gain this control back. And that's what they do. They give people back their bladder control so they don't have to rely on medications for their bladders that have other side effects. So they don't have to rely on Botox for the bladder or bladder surgeries, or so they don't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars throughout their lifetime on pads or on incontinence underwear. So I don't want that for you. I want you to live with dry pants and super strong bladders that can hold urine so you're not leaking while you're in the workplace, and that will give you all the more confidence to live a healthy, active life and enjoy your work so much more. Thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe to our video. We are so delighted to share pelvic health resources with you, and we want all of your friends to know because all of your friends most likely have something going on with their bladders too, whether they admit that or not. I'm Dr. Allison Felt. Thank you for joining with me, and stay tuned for more videos.